You see this all the time in business, right? A company has this huge, incredible vision for their brand. But then you look at what's actually happening on the ground, in the market, and there's this massive gap between the big idea and the reality. Oh, it's the classic strategy to execution problem. That grand vision gets dreamed up in an offsite, and then it just evaporates in the day-to-day grind of meetings and emails. And that is exactly why we're going through this brand blueprint. It's a framework based on the work of Alexander Chernev, a marketing professor, and it's all about building a solid, actionable bridge from that vision to real market impact.
And this is the core of that bridge, G-STIC. It's an acronym, of course, for goal, strategy, tactics, implementation, and control. And what I think is so important to notice right away is how it's laid out here. It's a loop, not a straight line. That's the whole ball game, isn't it? You don't just set it and forget it. That last step, control, is all about feeding what you've learned back into the beginning. It makes the whole process dynamic. So this isn't some static checklist you work through once. These 5 pieces are meant to be the living, breathing engine of your brand strategy. Get this cycle humming, and you've got a seriously powerful tool.
Okay, so let's start where you have to start, the foundation. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on getting the goal and the strategy right. This is the bedrock. It absolutely is. I think a lot of teams get so excited about the creative stuff, the tactics. They want to jump right into designing a new logo or mapping out an Instagram campaign. But if you haven't nailed down your goal, the why, and your strategy, the what, then all those cool tactics are basically just shots in the dark.
And let's be clear about what we mean by goal here. We're not talking about some fluffy mission statement like, we want to be the best in the industry. This framework demands a lot more rigor. It forces you to define a specific focus. What is the one key outcome you are trying to drive? Is it about changing perception, like building brand power? Or is it a hard number, like increasing the financial value of the brand itself? Right? That commercial value, the brand equity, that makes someone choose you over a competitor. And then you add the part that makes it truly powerful. The benchmarks. You have to attach real numbers and a real deadline to it. Something like, we will increase brand equity by 15% over the next 18 months. Now that is a goal. It's no longer a wish, it's a target. It becomes the North Star that every single other decision gets measured against. You can't know if you won if you never define the score.
Exactly. So, once you have that North Star, that measurable goal, the next logical question just hangs in the air. Okay, so how are we actually going to do that? And that's where strategy comes in. If the goal is the destination, the strategy is the map. It's the high-level plan for the journey. It's the set of crucial choices you make that will chart the course from where you are today to that goal you just set.
And that map, that strategy, really comes down to 2 huge decisions. First, and maybe the most critical of all, is defining your target market, the who. Who specifically are we doing all this for? I love this part because it's not just about the customer in a vacuum. The moment you choose your target customer, you are, by definition, also choosing who your main competitors are and who your most important collaborators need to be. It's a chain reaction. If you decide you're going after first-time homebuyers, well, your competitors and your collaborators, like mortgage brokers, look completely different than if you were targeting luxury property investors. Okay, so once you know who you're talking to, you have to figure out your value proposition, the why. Why should this specific group of people care about you? What is the unique value you're bringing that they just can't get from anyone else? And here again, it's a much broader view of value. It's not just about the customer benefit. A truly robust value proposition has to work for everybody. It has to create financial value for your company, you have to make money, and it has to create value for your collaborators, making it worth their while to partner with you. It has to be a win-win-win.
So all of this is great. It sounds fantastic in a strategy meeting, right? You've got this beautiful goal, a smart strategy on a PowerPoint slide. But a plan sitting in a folder doesn't generate a single dollar of revenue, not a one. And that's what brings us to the next phase, which is all about execution. This is where we get to the T and the I of G-STIC, tactics and implementation. This is where you have to roll up your sleeves and translate that blueprint into an actual building in the real world.
So let's talk tactics. If your strategy is the 30,000-foot view of the battlefield, the tactics are the specific moves your troops are making on the ground. They are the concrete, actionable decisions you make that bring that high-level strategy to life for your customers. That's a perfect way to put it. Tactics are the things a customer can actually see, touch, hear, and experience. Your strategy might be an abstract concept internally, but tactics are the tangible proof of that strategy in the marketplace. It's the bridge from your plan to their perception.
And here are some perfect examples of what we mean. We're talking about the specific assets you create and own that make your brand unmistakable out in the wild.
Exactly.
The name itself, the logo, that little sound mark like the Netflix da-dum, or the iconic shape of a Coke bottle. And here's the crucial thing. None of these should be just arbitrary creative choices. Every single one is a tactical decision that needs to flow directly from your strategy. They aren't just decorations, they're weapons in your strategic arsenal.
Okay, so you've designed a brilliant new logo and amazing packaging. Great. But a JPEG file sitting on a designer's computer has exactly zero impact on your bottom line. That's where implementation comes in. This is the least sexy part of the whole process, but honestly, it's where most strategies fall apart. Implementation is the nitty-gritty logistics. It's the project management. It's filing the trademark for the new name. It's managing the print run for the new packaging. It's scheduling the social media posts. It's all the work that actually gets the tactics off the whiteboard and into the market.
All right, so you've done it. The engine is running. Your beautiful new brand is out in the world. The ads are on. The products are shipping. But now comes the question that really separates the pros from the amateurs in brand management. How in the world do you know if any of it is actually working? You spent all this time, all this money. Is it making a difference? Are you actually getting any closer to that goal you so carefully defined way back at the start?
You know, it's a scary thought, isn't it? You could be pouring millions of dollars into a plan and have absolutely no idea if it's effective. You're just flying blind, burning cash, and hoping for the best. And that is precisely why the C in G-STIC, control, is so non-negotiable. It's the feedback loop. It's the system that closes the circle and makes this entire framework intelligent, responsive, and frankly, worth doing. And control isn't just one thing. It's a dynamic, two-pronged process. The first part is the brand impact analysis. This is you looking inward at your own performance. Are we hitting the benchmarks we set? Did brand awareness go up that 10% we were aiming for? You're grading your own report card against the goals you set. And at the same exact time, you have to be doing the second part, market context analysis. This is you looking outward, because the world doesn't stand still. What's changed? Is there a new competitor on the scene, a new consumer trend, a new technology? It's this combination of looking in the mirror and looking out the window that gives you the intelligence to make the right call. Do we stay the course, make a minor adjustment, or do we need a fundamental overhaul?
So we've walked through this entire G-STIC process, and what you end up with is a really robust, comprehensive action plan. But if that plan just lives in a few key people's heads or on a forgotten whiteboard, it's incredibly fragile. It really is. To give a plan real teeth inside an organization, it has to be formalized. It needs to be written down, documented, and shared so that it can become the single source of truth that aligns everybody from the boardroom to the sales floor on where the brand is going.
And this is what that formal document usually looks like. You've got four main parts. It kicks off with an executive summary, which is the high-level snapshot. Then you get a situation overview, which sets the stage, what's happening in the market, where do we sit, and so on. Then you hit the absolute heart of the document, Section 3, the brand action plan. And that is literally where you detail the entire G-STIC framework we just talked about, your goal, strategy, tactics, implementation plan, and your control metrics. It's all laid out there. And then the last section, exhibits, is just the appendix with all your supporting data and research.
We really need to pause on that executive summary for a second, because I don't think you can overstate how important it is. For any senior leader, any board member, any potential investor who is short on time, this might be the only part of the entire document they ever actually read. It's 100% the elevator pitch for your whole plan. In one, maybe 2 pages, you have to be able to distill the entire strategy down to its essence so clearly and so compellingly that someone with zero prior context can immediately get what you're trying to do, why you're doing it, and why it's going to work.
So as you're putting this whole thing together, it all comes down to these 3 principles. If you want this document to be a useful tool and not just an expensive paperweight, it absolutely must be clear. No jargon, no ambiguity. Second, it has to be concise. There's this temptation to believe that a 100-page plan is more serious or more thorough than a 10-page one. It's almost never true. Brevity forces you to focus on what truly matters. And finally, and this is the big one, it has to be actionable. The document must clearly state what needs to be done, who owns it, and what the deadline is. Otherwise, it's not a plan. It's a book report.
And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. In reality, succinct plans are often more effective as brevity helps focus attention on the essential elements of the strategy. I think that's such a powerful idea to end on. We live in a world of overwhelming complexity and information overload. Because of that, the most valuable things you can bring to brand strategy are clarity and focus. The objective isn't to write the longest plan, it's to write the smartest one. It's the perfect reminder that when it comes to strategy, less is very often more.